oftentimes we want to use directional mics to really hone in or focus in on a particular thing and try and reject sounds from elsewhere. Now, a shotgun microphone is a pretty classic way of approaching that. The way that it achieves its directionality is actually a pretty clever acoustic sort of strategy, where these ports work with the wavelengths and phase cancellation to create that sort of directionality. Now, a couple of things to note about any of these sorts of microphones. There are, I guess, side effects. It's not perfect, so even though we might say, yes, it's very directional, it's mainly directional at the higher frequencies and becomes less directional at the lower frequencies. That is a little bit of a function of the length of our microphone, our shotgun microphone, and the ports as well. So if you have a really long shotgun microphone, and you can get huge ones, although not commonly, then they are more directional to lower frequencies. None of these sorts of mics have a perfect response, so there are always some little lobey effects that come off them as a bit of a side effect. And so some things to keep in mind, that it's mainly at the higher frequencies that it's directional, becoming less directional really low down. But still quite effective and very, very useful for focusing in on a subject, and keeps things quite natural in terms of the sound. If you want to go even more directional, there is actually a way to do it, but again, there are side effects. So I'll just step back a little bit, and this is a parabolic microphone. So all it is effectively, I'm not going to take the windshield off just because it's hard to get back on, but inside this cover, there is an omnidirectional microphone, and it's sitting, the capsule is sitting somewhere in here, which is the focal point of this parabola. So it's a dish made to focus the sound. So sounds come in, and they come in from this direction, they reflect off the dish, off the parabolic dish, and they reflect into, focused into a focal point where the microphone picks it up. So the effect of that is that sounds that I'm directly pointing at, they get amplified by bouncing or reflecting off the shield and into that focal point, into the microphone. So I effectively get a boost, extra gain added by pointing my microphone at something. We then also get some rejection from the shield at the back. Now, this is quite a small, or it's actually a medium-sized dish in terms of what people use, pretty average, but it's still quite a thin material, and it's not massive in terms of its size. So what that means is that it's only effective with that directionality at the higher frequencies again, sort of similar to the shotgun mic, but to a different degree, because we actually get this extra gain boost for the stuff that does reflect back off into our microphone with this. So we get extra level of our recording. So it feels like we can zoom in or reach further away, but only with a very narrow beam that we're capturing. Because it's not directional at those lower frequencies, we do get a much bigger drop off on that low frequency. So the frequency response of our sounds is different. So this is good for capturing things like songbirds. It's very popular with wildlife recordists. But if you have more full range sounds that you're trying to capture, it won't give an accurate representation of them. And so that's a little bit of a trade-off. So, you know, if you've got a pretty little tweedy songbird, then it might do a really good job of focusing in on that. But let's say you try to record something with a bit more of a full range, let's say a crow's call if you're out and doing a wildlife thing, or a white cockatoo or something, it might not sound natural, might not sound quite right, because it's not capturing all those frequencies. So let's go out and we'll give this a go in the field, and we'll just leave this set up and see what you reckon.